Hi, my name is Ryan Claytor, and I write and illustrate a series of autobiographical comics titled And Then One Day. With your help, I'd like to publish my most recent story arc as a 96-page collected edition. To give you a bit of history, I've been creating the series and self-publishing my comics under the company name Elephant Eater Comics since 2004. And Then One Day started as a page-a-day comic strip, much like a diary in comic book form. The first 4 issues were eventually compiled into a single book. The 5th installment in the series was more of an illustrated journal rather than straight comics. It was produced during a time of transition as I moved from my tiny hometown to a larger city in order to pursue my graduate studies. And Then One Day number 6 was part of my master's thesis. During my research, I found a theory that stated autobiography is no more truthful or valid than fiction. This got me thinking, how could I make autobio any more objective than it already is? For this project, I interviewed several people in my life, asking them questions about me, but in order to achieve a more objective outcome, I put each person in an isolated room with only a box of questions and a tape recorder to document their responses. And Then One Day number 6 is a comics transcription of those interviews. In an effort to further explore autobiographical theories and how they relate to comics, I found Professor Harry Polkinghorne in the English department at San Diego State University, where I was conducting my graduate research. He taught a class on the personal essay, and after explaining my idea to create a comic book discussion about autobiographical theory, he agreed to take part. We recorded several conversations centered around autobiography, comics, and the intersection of the two. Ultimately, my hope was that the comics medium would provide a more visual approach to understanding autobiographical theory, while framing the subject matter in the context of a conversation would allow the reader to feel more engaged, almost as though they were a part of that conversation unfolding. Over the next 3 years, I transcribed our conversations, edited the script, and illustrated pages, releasing a new installment each year. In April 2013, the most recent serialized comic in the story arc garnered a first-place Space Prize at the Small Press and Alternative Comics Expo, which provided further motivation that this project deserved a larger audience. The 3-part story arc was always intended to be read as a completed whole, and through this crowdfunding campaign, I hope to make that vision a reality. My $3,000 goal will allow me to have 1,000 copies of this project, collectively titled Autobiographical Conversations, professionally offset printed in a single volume. Where the original limited-run art comics had print runs between 100 to 300 copies per issue, this larger quantity will give me the opportunity to reach a broader audience through national distribution. The new edition will feature all 76 pages of comics conversation from the original 3 issues, with a few additions. The collected format will allow me to showcase the artwork in duotoned color. Over the past several months, I've been converting each page to a 2-color format, which will provide the work with a greater range of color, increased sense of depth, and highlighting. In addition to the original conversation, the compiled book will also contain an appendix featuring supplemental material and behind-the-scenes process information about the creation of this project. A new gatefold cover will also be created for the collected edition of this book. Finally, on a personal note, during the creation of this project, I moved from California to Michigan. Since relocating for my wife's job, I've learned a lot about my new home state's economy and the importance of buying local. Although several of my previous books have been printed overseas, it's important to me that this edition is printed right here in Michigan. The volume I've described will be proudly printed by BRD Printing, who has a 25-year track record of high-caliber book printing. Finally, there is a list of incentives on the right-hand side of this campaign page, and I hope that you'll find one that excites you. Thank you for your time, and I appreciate any support you can provide.